Hi everyone, today is Monday. Yes, it is Monday. I don't know what day though. I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter. Today is Monday and it is really hot. I was at work and I was supposed to be here like an hour and a half ago to do the video. I'm gonna get this side. The light is starting to get in my face. But I had to do computer updates. So it took me a little bit to get home, but I'm finally here and I'm ready to do some chatting about knitting. Today I am wearing the Camisole number 4 by My Favorite Things. Yes, exactly. And the yarn is Camellia Fiber Company Flax Fingering, and I have a label somewhere. There it is. So, Camellia Fiber Company. There you go. And the color is Lichen. It is one of my favorite colors. It is alpaca, 50%, 25% linen, and 25% silk. It is a beautiful yarn, very lightweight. I love this color, love it. Love it. I am wearing a bra under this that I hid the straps. But ideally I want to sew a little like pad, you know, like the ones that come with sports bras on the inside, so I don't have to like worry about straps or any like weirdness, like, well, I can't tell, but there's a little bump right here from bras, and this is a little low. It's a little low for me, but if I pull it up, it looks kind of weird, so this is where we're at. The pattern was very simple to knit, and I really like that it was top down. I really like that, because I was able to try it on as I went along, and I knew exactly how long to make it, and I made it much longer than what the pattern calls for, but I used less yardage. I think that the pattern says that the smallest amount is about like 500 yards, so over one skein. So I went to Camellia Fiber Company, Sylvia Rose Company, in her old location. She now moved to a new location, but I went to her old location to get to know her and everything, and I had in mind that while I was there, I was going to get some yarn. And I wanted to get yarn to make something like this, a little top. And my thought was, I'm gonna get 2 skeins, because who knows when I'm gonna knit this, because I have so much yarn. I don't want to buy 1 skein now and then have to like buy 1 skein later just so that it's long enough. But I didn't have to. And also Sylvia, who was so sweet, she gifted me the 2 skeins that I wanted to get. It was incredible, and I was really not expecting it. And now it's almost like a gift that keeps on giving, because it was enough for 1 top, and now I'm knitting a different top, but that's for later on when we talk about whips. Yeah, but I am really happy with this. Yeah. When I first put it on, it was prior to blocking, so it wasn't like this loose, it was much tighter. When I did that, I did not like how these like increases were showing up, because I was expecting them to just follow more or less center or the front, instead of going sideways, and I was a little self-conscious about my body. But Sweet Joseph, he was like, what are you talking about? I think this is all in your head. It looks great. You look so good, blah, blah, blah. He's the sweetest. So supportive. But there you go. Now, to wear this against the skin, I don't know if it is because it's so hot right now or some other reason, or maybe it comes with a little vegetable matter, so I don't know if I'm allergic to that. like this. I just pull this. I don't know if this is like part of the linen, but it comes with very little, there we go. A few bits of that, and it's a little itchy, but again, it's like really hot. And I just wanted to wear this because I was wearing another top, but it felt, it was like one of those that you buy like in the Zara store, cheap. It has lasted a few years, so at least there's that. But I was just too hot in it, so I thought, I'm going to like cool down and change into this one to see how it looks. And I like how it looks, so I wanted to wear it for the podcast. But it is too hot. I would not at this point wear this all day. So this is clearly one of my FOs. I finished it. I started it last month, almost a month, like literally 30 days ago. And I finished it last weekend to be precise, at the end of June, or early July. Early July, because I was out on a trip with Joseph and my needles broke, and I was like, oh my god, I can't knit on this anymore. I'm gonna have to go home and switch to a different pair of needles that is not the same size, or I'm going to have to knit with a new pair of needles that I'm going to have to buy. And I really did not want to do that, and I did not want to spend money on something like that just to finish. Like I was probably like here. I didn't have that much left. So instead what I did was I filed down with my nail file that I keep with my knitting supplies in case like I break a nail or something, and I don't want to knit and accidentally pull on my yarn and destroy the whole thing. So I keep it there, and I basically just, because it was a wooden needle, I filed down the old sides, and then I ended up with one that was probably 5 inches and one that was probably like 3 inches. Then I got home and I think it broke again in the bag. And it was a Knit Picks needle, and I know other people that I've knitted with them and they like them. But wow, that was like my first time working with that type of needle, the Knit Picks wooden needles. And that was not good. I mean, it broke so easily. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, then I also in the last month knitted another pair of socks, and this yarn is the Yarnable from March 2021. That was the year that I got several Yarnable boxes when I was really into knitting socks. Not all of you know, but socks were my first knitting project. And I really like their colors, their yarn colors. They were so pretty. And this is, I think, 20% nylon, 80% superwash merino. It's hard to tell. There's a little fluffs because I've worn it. But the colors are really pretty. It's like a peacock blue with different shades of green. It's pretty. And this pattern is my pattern with just no, this one doesn't have any alterations. This one is the Dreamy vanilla socks, and basically they're a pattern that I have that's knitted bottom up, and right now it is my favorite pattern. I've had different favorites. When I first started knitting, it was one by the Crazy Sock Lady that she had a YouTube video for, and then I created my own that fitted better around my heel, because hers was good, but it was always too loose around the heel, just in this area here. It was just way too loose. So I changed how I knitted the heel and all of the sock patterns that I created, so that it was different from hers in that one aspect, so they fit me better. And I think that it was also one of the patterns that I made that had a corrugated ribbing, which is really fun. If you just have a little scrap and you just want to do something fun and you don't need it necessarily to be like really tight, which I don't. I use shoes with laces, so I don't need that to keep the socks up. They don't roll down. What else? Oh, and then I switched to this pattern, the Dreamy vanilla socks that are knit toe up, which I really, really highly recommend. I used to be kind of afraid of doing that, but I cast on for a pair of socks once and I was like, oh my god, I just need to make a vanilla pattern for this and just have like a tutorial. Just like, I like the first pair of socks that I knitted by the Crazy Sock Lady because I had a tutorial to follow. So that's what I decided to do, to make it easier, easy to explain, understand how the heel works, because just explaining that without seeing it happening in real life is a bit weird and intimidating. So I have these, and I'm going to take these off the sock blockers, because I also started more than a month ago, I think. I started a different pair of socks. Gosh, I've done so much. It feels like it's been such a long time, but at the same time, it has only been a month. And I'm amazed at how much I was able to knit in this month. But I did have a long weekend of vacation and a whole week of vacation. So there's that. So this is the same pattern. And I didn't care about necessarily matching the socks. They're so pretty. That's how they go. They match like that. Or like this. But this again is the same pattern that the Dreamy vanilla socks. And this is an online yarn, and what is it? Online Linie, Line 12 street design color. And the color itself is, or colorway, is 101, which is a brown that changes to white, to dark blue, and then to white again. And this is 50 grams. And 50 grams was enough to knit me a pair of socks. And I think I still have like just over 10 grams left, which will be just enough to add to my blanket. I haven't shown my blanket in a while because I stopped knitting on it because I lost a couple of skeins that I was going to add to it. So it's been on hold, but now I have like a bunch of different yarns to add to it. So I have to go back to it. Must have to. And I really like working with those two yarns. Of course, there's superwash, which is not my favorite type of yarn. But you know, one I got 2 years ago, and the other one I just got because I could not say no to those colors. In fact, well, first I got one skein not for me, and then I was like, I want to knit with this so much, so I got myself a skein for it too. And that was just a few months ago. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, then I have 2 more projects. Now, I can't remember if last time I made a video I had just cast on for the Xiao cardigan by Layla Yang, or if I was about to. So, well, first I feel like I need to explain. I have a sweater that is the Balshan sweater. It's one of my FOs from last month. And when I went on vacation, Jane and my mother-in-law, Sherry, they're like, oh, that's so pretty. I'd like to knit this, but just in different colors. That would suit me better. Because we all have like very different skin, hair, and eye colors. So the colors that look best on me are not necessarily either their favorite colors or the colors that they feel that look better on them. So we all went to the yarn store, Black Mountain Yarn Shop, I think that's what it's called, and it's in Black Mountain, North Carolina. And Jane got her yarn to cast on the Balshan, and she already knit the color work and the part that you split for the arms, and now she's like in the final countdown doing the decreases for the waist. And Sherry got herself her own colors, and they're gonna look so cute when she's done. It has this like very light peachy pink, very, very pretty. So she's gonna knit on that, but she needs a lot of encouragement and just, help throughout, just because she's often a little bit unsure if she's doing things right or not, and oftentimes she is, but she just needs a little bit more support and something like someone to keep pushing her to, working on it, because sometimes she just pauses and is a little bit anxious to get back on it. And I think that happens to a lot of us. Sometimes not just in knitting, but with many other things. I know that's my case sometimes. I think with knitting, it only happened like a couple of times, but like some things at work, like I did something 2 years ago and now I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this? But it's more like riding a bicycle. You start on it and then you start to remember and you get there, but until you start, you have like all this anxiety happening, right? So I decided that I was going to knit on my cardigan and split it in parts, like different, in French we would say étage, but I don't think that works in English. Well, basically, she's knitting a sweater, I'm knitting a cardigan. Both of those have a yoke, both of those have color work, both of those have a split for the sleeve situation, although mine is more traditional and hers is different just because it has the bat wings, the Balshan does. So what I did was I told her that we're gonna do it as if it's a knit along, section by section, because I don't want to like, last time we did a knit along, we're both doing the same sweater, but I knitted really fast and it took her a really long time, and she's almost done with it. She just needs to pick it back up and keep knitting a little bit to finish the yoke, because it's a bottom up, but she hasn't. And I feel like if we're both going at the same time, maybe it will help her, get on it. So anyway, I decided that the Balshan has, I did not bring it with me, but it has a little bit of, it has an I-cord to start with. You cast on through the I-cord. Then you knit short rows in the back, and then you just knit like this much. And then you start your collar work. I know the color work is gonna take a while because to me it felt like hell. I was just like, ugh, how many more rows of this? I was just anxious to be done. Of course, splitting for the sleeves was even worse because that is knit one side, purl one side. And it's a 10 stitches because it's fingering and it's from elbow to elbow. It was a lot. So anyway, I thought I would, I don't know which one is the right. I think this is the right side, okay. So I thought I would do the yoke-ish. I think it's like this. That's pretty. And now is when my color work is going to start. So I told Sherry that I would start on my color work when she starts on her color work. And I know that that's it. It might take her a little bit. She's still knitting on a different project, but I'm okay with waiting. I have many other things I can knit. But, oh, so pretty. I just love this pink. I think it makes, it's very hard to tell, but I think it looks good with my face, with the pinks I have on my cheek and such. And this sun is real, and I don't have any curtains there. Anyway, so all of this whole jacket is different yarns that are all superwash. All of them. It's really not the most comfortable for my fingers to knit, but the colors are just incredible. So this one is Bien Aimée and dyed in Paris. This is one of my main colors, and this is the Sport, Merino Sport. It is 100% superwash merino. The color is bisque. This one is Fig and Posy Fiber Co. Company. The color is blush. The whatever is simple merino linen, which is 90-10, so 90 merino, and I think, yeah, it is superwash. 90% merino superwash, 10% linen. And you can tell that it is different. And this one is one ply. This one is more. This one has a very high twist. And I just picked them because I thought the colors looked so well together. I think this one looks closer to maybe my lip color, and this one closer to my cheeks. So I thought that would be a good neutral with all of it put together. Because neutral doesn't have to be black and white and brown and gray. Neutral just has to be something that, you know, maybe doesn't really stand out. Usually like more natural colors work best. And I think those are mine. Initially though, I was thinking of doing shades of brown and beige, because the balsam that I did had this like twisted white and camel color that looked beautiful. So initially I was going to go for something like that, but then I saw these and I had to have them, right? And then these, I'm not gonna say what they are because the tags are inside, but they are going to be in the description. These are just amazing colors. Look at this pop. Eee! So crazy. So that is one of my whips that I might not speak about next time, because unless Sherry gets started on her color work, I am not going to get started on this color work. There. And then I have finally one more whip. So I have another whip, but it's not here. But I can tell you what it is really quick. Basically, this is a skein of 100 grams, so I'm making a second pair of socks. Same pattern, that's it. I've just been focusing more on my tops because this one is knit with 5 times 0. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 needle. So I can keep gauge. And you can look at it, and if you're a sock knitter, you can tell that this gauge is probably the same gauge that you're getting knitting your own socks with a needle that's 5 times bigger than my needle. But I just need to really go down in size, at least when it comes to socks. To many other things too, but socks are just an extreme. And you definitely don't want to get these too loose. Like getting a top too loose is okay. Getting socks too loose is uncomfortable, and you don't want to wear them afterwards. Let's see if I can. Oh my god, this is so much better. I feel so silly now. Okay, so my final whip is another top using the second skein of the Flax fingering by Camellia Fiberworks, because Camellia Fiber Company. I don't know why I want to call it Fiberworks. It's Fiber Company. Because I only used one skein for this, and I actually still have like maybe 50 yards or so, so enough to add to my blanket. So I didn't even use that one all the way. I now have cast on, this looks kind of messy, for the Casper blouse. I think that's what it's called. I think it's the Casper blouse. It could be the Casper top, but it's Casper because I remember, because it is the name of the little ghost. And basically, and this has a lot of ends that I don't have to weave in because of how this project starts. This project starts with, gosh, I don't want to lose my stitches. It starts with this like double-sided hem, I think that's what it's called, right? And then you pick up stitches alongside it. This is the back where I have all these ends. And because it's a double-sided hem, I'll have to weave this, like close this in, and then just hide the ends inside the hem. It's awesome. And then you do short rows for the top, because this hem just sits like this, and it's higher here and then lower at the back. So what you do is you start with your short rows, and then you do increases. You do increases in short rows, so you get the higher front on the bust, and it has a little ruffle, and then you just knit straight down, I'm pretty sure, and then you do your straps. Now, what I'm slightly worried about is I don't know how much yarn I'm going to use on the straps, and I'd rather work on the body without having to cut the yarn to do the straps and then see, oh, I could have had more yarn in the body and then add it later, so I get like 2 extra ends to weave in, which I'd like to avoid. And I'd also like to avoid the opposite, which is to knit the body too long and then don't have enough for the straps. I think that the straps, if I remember correctly, they're not this thin, they're as thick, I think, as this. Now, this is one fabulous thing about this pattern. You don't have to swatch, sort of, because, well, it does tell you specific sizes and specific stitch amounts. It also tells you the length. So for example, for the hem, it says you can knit it for these specific bust sizes, or just knit it to minus how many centimeters or inches of your bust, you know, because it's slightly negative ease on the hem. And then for where the short rows start and end, it tells you to leave this amount of space, put the marker, leave this amount of space, put the marker, and you do short rows from marker to marker, so you don't necessarily need to have specific stitches. So I did not swatch. I don't even know if the pattern is fingering. I didn't check, because all I had to do is, because I liked how the fabric looked here in terms of how open the stitch is, I decided I was gonna use the same needle to make the other top. It's the same yarn, so it's perfect. So far it's going really well. I have probably like this much done and a whole skein to go through. And that's what I'm going to be mostly knitting. Then I'll switch back to the socks. Although now that I think about it, the socks are not done with that yarn. I'm doing it with a clown born that I got probably in 2020. Pretty sure it was 2020. I got it on discount because they're gonna stop selling it, so I'll put that on the show notes. I also recently got one skein that is somewhere, oh there it is, of Dicey Multi, which is a worsted 100% cotton, and this is a Knit Picks yarn, very pretty. I think it's called Sailboat, this color, yes, Sailboat, and it's white, light blue, and yellow. And I got this because the class that I'm gonna, or workshop that I'm gonna teach in August is with this type of yarn for wash/dishcloths. If you are not American, you may not be aware of this, or maybe where you are, you do this. This was pretty new to me, but here people sometimes bathe using a small, like this big piece of cloth that I think you rub the soap in, and then you use it to like scrub your body. Instead of using a loofah or just using your hands, that's what they use. Or one of those gloves. And they also use a similar thing to do their dishes. Like instead of using a sponge, especially in places that are very, very humid, where the sponges can really acquire poor, like very bad smell, because I guess maybe because they're synthetic, they won't like dry as easily, I guess. I don't know. And if you don't use that, the sponge, and if you don't use one of those scrubbing brushes, like from IKEA, then you would use a cloth. And there are cloths that have like bumps, usually. So if you were just doing one that's knit on one side, purl on the other side, you'd probably use the purl side to clean. Then you just throw it in the dishwasher with everything else. It's really environmentally friendly. So that's what we're going to be doing. Class 1 will be a very simple washcloth, and class 2 will be slightly more elaborate, just to learn 5 more stitches. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm going to do a tutorial so that when people finish at the workshop that is only 2 hours long, they can go home and see the videos and feel like they are in class again, and they're listening to the same person explaining the things the same way. So ideally they'll be able to just keep working on their project. And that's it. That's all I have to say. It's a lot though. I'm very impressed with myself. Okay, oh. After I finish this top, I do have something else I want to cast on. I thought I had put the basket with all that yarn with me. Oh, it's right here. Beautiful. So I have all of this beautiful yarn. You can tell it's fall colors. It's 4 different colors. And it's, I think, all Portuguese yarn. And this is to make the boho mosaic cardigan. I think that's what it's called. So that's gonna be my next project. And for that one, I have Pegulhal. This is, I think, mostly Rosa Pomar. This one is Pegulhal, and I hope it's catching all the pretty colors, but it has so many different shades. There's that one. This one has a little bit more red to it. It's also Pegulhal. Then there's this one that I don't know what it is, but I think it is Mondim, but dyed by Bien Aimée, I think. And then this one is not Rosa Pomar. This one is the only one that isn't. This one is Rosarios 4. Douro is the type of yarn that we have here. And this is, I think they're all 100% wool. Yeah, this one, it says 100% organic wool. And it's like a very nice beige or a dirty white ivory. Yeah, so another like warm colored project. Okay, well, wow, this is a really long episode. Now I have to do the Portuguese one and then make dinner. I hope you all really enjoyed this podcast. It is so nice talking to you. I really look forward to it. And the sun is in my eyes again. Okay. Blinding myself here. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed it. If you are from around here, feel free to come to the same place and time where we're gonna have the workshop, because we're also going to have a knitting circle with just local knitters knitting away. Okay, and I think that's it. All right, y'all have a fabulous week. Mwah. Bem-vindos ao meu podcast ou blog, não sei o que eles quiserem chamar, vlog. Meu nome é Sara Coelho-Robinson e eu estou a falar-vos a partir dos Estados Unidos. Este é o meu cantinho da internet onde eu falo sobre todas as minhas aventuras com tricô, lãs, de vez em quando misturo outras coisas, mas pouquinho. E eu tenho tanto para dizer. Portanto, espero que gostem. Vamos começar com o que é que eu tenho vestido. Este top é o Camisole número 4. N04, acho que é assim que está escrito. O sol está na minha cara porque o sol está-se a começar a pôr e eu não tenho cortinas. E está muito calor, muito calor. Estão quase 30 graus. No sótão onde eu estou é capaz de estar um bocadinho mais quente, mas estão 30 graus lá fora. Pronto, continuando, de volta ao top. Este top é feito, neste caso, com o novelo de uma das minhas marcas preferidas aqui nos Estados Unidos, que é a Camellia Fiber Company, e o novelo em si chama-se Fingering Flax. Eu tenho a etiqueta aqui alguns. Flax Fingering. E é 50% alpaca, 25% linho, 25% seda. E é fingering, e a cor é Lichen, que se escreve L-I-C-H-E-N. Eu não sei se é por estar muito calor, ou se calhar isto vem com uma matéria vegetal, não sei se sou alérgica a ela. Mas quando eu a pus, começou-me a fazer um bocadinho de comichão. Mas também pode ser por estar tanto calor. Teria que ter um cabelo. Bem, está feito. Eu estou a usar este com sutiã por baixo, mas escondi as alças.